updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back, viewers. You are viewing Good Morning Tobago, and joining me this morning on set is Mr. Brendon Gray, the branch manager of Tattle Insurance in Tobago. Brendon, good morning.
Good morning to you. It's a pleasure being here.
And it's always good to have you visit us on Tobago Updates. Now, this morning we want to have a conversation around pre-owned vehicles and transferring ownership. And you know, sometimes in societies where we are very familiar with each other, there are some things we think we can deal with later on. So let's start our conversation. You know, I have purchased a pre-owned vehicle, but I'm familiar with the person and we just haven't got around to transferring the ownership of that vehicle. And what are the implications of me doing such?
No, it's a lot of implications, legal and otherwise. But before I get there, I think I need to share with our viewers the fantastic job that your team has been doing informing Tobago. I was also involved in the media business, where I was the chairman of Tobago News for quite a while.
Yes.
You know, and we built an organization. So I know what you're doing is a fantastic job informing the public, and I must commend you on that. Yes, there are a lot of implications, a lot of challenges.
Let me interrupt you because I'm now thinking, before we get to the implications, how about we talk about the process? You know, let's talk about the process. What should I do, you know, to get to that point?
To that point.
Yes.
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Yes, the first thing you need to do is do not pay for the vehicle until the owner of the vehicle agrees to transfer the vehicle to you.
Okay.
That must be the first thing done. If even when you're exchanging the funds or the cash or the check or whatever for the vehicle, that should be done at the licensing office, where you pay the money and receive the transfer form.
Okay.
It's an exchange.
Okay. So it should be done like almost simultaneously at that point
at
of
the
the
same
exchange.
time of the sale. The transfer should be done at that point.
I wonder how many of us did that or will do that.
We in the insurance industry, and I'm speaking of the industry as the president of the chapter here in Tobago.
Right.
We in the insurance industry have been in a lot of trouble, a lot of problems with owners some owners even, pre-owners will even try to sell the insurance with the vehicle, so the person could use the vehicle and the insurance at the same until the expiry of that and so on. That is illegal.
Okay.
It is illegal. You cannot sell insurance. The only person to sell insurance is the insurance company.
Right.
You know, so I am pleading on people, and let me share with you before I go on to that.
Yes.
You sell the vehicle, that insurance was sold to the owner, the previous owner. That person should come to the insurance company and have a refund done.
Okay.
That other individual has to come to the insurance and then submit their documents, because the risk assessment is to be done at the insurance company, not you, the owner, who has no rights, no legal to sell it. You see? So I'm saying what should be done before the money, because when you pay the money or the check to the owner and they go on off, they forget you.
Right. You're on your own.
You're on your own.
Right.
And the vehicle is not transferred, it's not belonging to you. No. So let's go to the certificate.
Right.
That certificate is issued as the birth certificate of that vehicle.
Right.
Everything about the vehicle is in that certificate. The chassis number, the engine number, the color, everything is in that certificate. So it's a birth certificate for that vehicle. And it must follow the owners.
Right.
The challenges we have, one of the challenges, and I'll go along with some of the challenges, is that the person who comes to the insurance company seeking now insurance, because you now have to get insurance for the vehicle when that illegal sale was made in terms of the selling of the
Okay.
vehicle.
Right.
You know the new owner who believes they're not owning
Right,
because
because you don't have that transfer
that transfer
certificate
is
in
not.
your name.
That's right.
Okay.
So you come to the insurance company to apply for insurance. You cannot get insurance. The insurance company will not give you insurance
Okay.
without that certificate because it's not in your name.
Okay. So you have to prove ownership.
And to prove ownership in order to get insurance. Some of us, we do it, but we say we're going to give you a limited period to go get your insurance,
Okay.
get the certificate, get the
Right.
changes done, and so on. Case may be, and get the certificate.
You may issue insurance in that case for like what? A
For
month, 2 months?
a month, 2 months,
Okay.
as the case might be, and you go and you get the transfer done and so on, and then you come back, and we then will give you the remaining insurance, or we'll do a new insurance based on what the circumstances are.
Right.
But primarily is to get insurance. The problem we find is that they cannot find the person who you purchased the vehicle from
Right.
on most instances.
Right.
And if you cannot find the person that you purchased the insurance, the vehicle from, you are putting yourself in a lot of trouble.
Right. Because monies would have been exchanged, that previous owner is gone.
And gone.
And I've even heard of, and I think sometimes we really get ourselves in trouble unnecessarily, because I've even heard where the vehicle may have passed through more than one hand. So by the time it gets to me, I might be the third owner, but it's in that first owner's name. So even that person I'm purchasing that vehicle from, the transfer, the ownership is not in his or her name.
Exactly. And that's where we're going. They're not even the 3 or 4 owners. Sometimes the person die.
Wow.
And what happened?
Right.
The person you purchased, the 3 or 4 owners before,
Yeah.
the first owner die, and you cannot get the insurance for that vehicle again. You have to pack up.
Right. So viewers, before we even continue, I want us to really understand this. So you are purchasing a pre-owned vehicle, make sure you get that vehicle in your name. It could be from your auntie, it could be from your uncle, your neighbor who you're good with. Don't exchange that money unless you know that vehicle is in your name, because we are learning from Mr. Gray, that this is something serious. And you don't want to make headlines because you make a mistake like that, right? So let's really get our act together, because when we get in trouble, sometimes we blame everyone else, but let's be responsible and do what we need to do.
The licensing office is a bit sometimes a little tardy in terms
Right.
of bringing up the changing the
Yes.
name.
Because
on the
we would also
certificate.
hear horror stories
Yes,
on that
yes.
side.
There's
as
some
well.
little tardiness there. So once you have the receipt that
Okay.
you've paid for the transfer,
Right.
that means that all the documentation went into the insurance to the licensing office.
Right.
So you have the receipt that you paid for the transfers. Some insurance companies will use that for the temporary insurance.
Right.
And it would be easier now for you to go back to the licensing, the vehicle insurance, the
Insurance
authorities,
company, right?
to get their certificate in your name.
Because the
You
process
because
was
it
started.
was started.
Right.
So that is something that you can do. The other horror story is not that too. When there's an accident, that's when the horrors begin.
Right.
There's a lot of horror there. When the insurance, you have, if you see, and it will take 2 sides. Supposing it's a comprehensive cover,
Right.
or if it's a third-party cover. Both have implications, both. With the comprehensive, the payment that would have been made, that if there's, just in case it was for 2 months or 3 months, the case might be, the payment cannot be made in the present owner's name.
Okay.
It has to be made in whole name on the certificate of insurance.
Okay. Yeah. So this is really important. And it's one of the steps we always think we can come back too, because I have the vehicle, I paid the person their money, the vehicle is now mine as far as I'm concerned, because there's an exchange of money.
Yes.
But we really have to be more responsible.
Exactly. And the third party case, same problem. Who will report? You run into someone, you run into a BMW, for instance, and someone got injured in the BMW, just in case. And you come to make the claim to the insurance company. The insurance company say, I don't know who you are.
Right.
The person on the certificate. Or just suppose you didn't have insurance at all. You take the insurance from the previous owner, say, look, use the insurance until it's run out. The insurance will say, but I don't know who you are. You are not person.
Right, yes. Because that's another common practice.
Exactly.
Right?
It's the wrong person. Now, the implications doesn't end there.
Right.
You run into the BMW. The BMW repairs is 100,000. The person who injured, they're gonna come at you for their claim.
Yes.
That is another 200,000-300,000.
Right.
So you have $400,000. They coming at you, the driver,
Right.
because the insurance company will not honor the claim
Right.
because the person who now owns the car purportedly was not the person
So
I
the
insure.
Right. The documentation is not in order.
Exactly. So if you have a house, that gone.
Right. Yeah.
If you have land, that gone. Because they would have to pay the people claim.
We seldom think of the implications of our simple actions. Again, we live in this society where we know each other and we take a lot for granted. Because even I've heard also of instances where I have a friend who bought a car and they were having problem with the previous owner to do that transfer for whatever reason. She wasn't making herself available, and now I'm thinking maybe the documentation may not even been on her name as well. So we really have to get our act
Need to
together.
make sure and be clear. No, not even that. People are buying cars, transferring the money online.
Right. Yes.
Without seeing the car, without seeing the person.
Right.
And when they do find out that it's a bogus transaction, bogus transaction.
So what would you advise? I mean, you have, straight off the beginning of this interview, you said, don't exchange that money unless you know who the owner is. And at that point of exchange, make sure you are doing it, whether it's at the license office, so you start that transfer process. How do you really get your clients to understand the importance of this? Is there, education programs? I mean, this is one, of course. You're reaching out. You're reaching out to us.
That's right. It's because of the number of instances that we are seeing, the data that I'm seeing coming into my office, the information that I'm seeing coming into my office, the calls that I'm receiving from individuals about this factor, this is a same matter.
Yeah.
I believe that it is time that I come out to the public.
Right.
And the best place to do that is at
Tobago updates, definitely.
So I think that it's important that we take note of our business. We are living, and we cannot lose 200,000, 100,000 because you purchase a car.
Yes.
And it is laid up and not only online. People leave Tobago and go to Trinidad and buy vehicles all over Trinidad.
Right.
And when they leave Trinidad without that transfer, now it's difficult to get the document done.
Yep.
So one other issue is that you can go to the license office with pick up the transfer documents. When you're going to make your purchase, carry the document with you.
Okay.
So you can get the person to even sign the documents prior to paying for the thing.
Because there's an intent for sale, so there's a contract there.
Yes.
And let us, as they say, line up our ducks in.
That's right.
Yes.
Even if you don't go to the licensing office to do the payment and so on, there are documents at the licensing office that needs to be signed by the other person. Take a copy of their driver's permit too. So you take the documents, a copy of the driver's permit, to make sure that the name on the certificate that they will give you, because you should not purchase a vehicle without a certificate of insurance in your presence.
Right. The certificate of ownership.
Certificate of ownership.
Yes.
The certificate of ownership must be, when you're going to pay for the vehicle, you must have a copy of the certificate of ownership.
Right.
So you know the person you're purchasing the vehicle from
Yes.
is the person that you're dealing with.
Right.
So you take a copy with your phone.
Yes.
Take a picture of the ID or their driver's permit along with you before handing the money over.
So if it is, I am in the process of making that purchase for that pre-owned vehicle or second-hand, as we may call it, and I get a copy of that certificate of ownership, and I know I was dealing with John, and I see Mary's name on the certificate. What's my next move?
You're paying the money to the wrong person.
So what should I do? I have not paid that money yet, but I asked for the certificate and I realize it's Mary's name on it. What should I do now?
Well, somehow you go to the police.
Right.
Because it means the vehicle must be stolen.
Right. And that's another, that's a very important thing you mentioned there, Mr. Gray, because, I mean, vehicles are selling at a much faster rate, be it new vehicles, second-hand. For some people who are buying the old foreign used cars, you pay a 20,000. For some people, that's nothing. And whether they bring it cash or whatever, and they say, well, okay, give me the vehicle, I can bring your money. And we go our separate ways. So viewers, again, very important to make sure that we do the right thing, understand there are implications, and it can just become so stressful.
Yeah, but so the vehicle is, Mary, that's one issue, and it's
yes,
go to push.
Right.
But people have been purchasing foreign used vehicles, and you cannot sell a foreign used vehicles before a certain time.
Okay.
And all of that is important for you to understand.
Yes. Because I did not realize that law was still on the books.
Yes,
okay.
You cannot sell a foreign used vehicle before a certain number of years, in order to make sure that you're not competing with the foreign used.
Okay, yes. Right. So you didn't bring in the vehicle just for resale, yes.
For sale.
Right, as an individual.
That's right.
Okay, got you.
All of those implications are involved.
Right.
When you purchase a vehicle.
Right, right.
And I would like for people to be observant. A lot of people have been lost a lot of money.
Right.
Because, as I said earlier, they have transferred money to people's account without seeing the vehicle, without seeing the person sometimes. There's a lot of implications out there, and I think I hope that this morning's program would make people aware of some of the responsibilities and some of the things that they are involved in when they're purchasing second-hand pre-owned vehicles, and we go forward from here.
Yeah, because even the issue of driving without insurance, I mean, our main discussion really surrounds that transfer of ownership. And again, it's so important because we take all these things for granted. But even, driving without insurance.
Yes, that is another whole dimension of
right. So you're gonna have to come back.
I would start. I can start because I feel that I would share this with you this morning, say with my customers, with our viewers. We have several things. One day, someone who was just a long-standing person, one of our customers, lent the vehicle to their aunt, to their nephew,
right,
to drive,
right,
to go down the street for something, and soon after that ran into a businessman and his vehicle. Mash up the vehicle.
Right.
Gentleman had something like 15 surgeries to correct broken leg and arms and so on. And so made the claim. The limit on our policy for that kind of thing is $3 million. So we paid our $3 million
Wow.
to the businessman because he was really something, and the vehicle loan was just about 700,000,
Right.
and the rest was for. But he did not. Everything was not corrected. All the. So I don't know what the excess is. Could be anything
Yes.
like
Yeah.
another 500, 600,000.
Right.
That person either had to pay that out of their pocket, or the court will take away their property.
Yes, because the cost has to be covered.
It has to be paid.
You know, and I want us to stick up in our conversation right here as we go for a break. So remember, it's your turn to share the live, share the live,
Share the live.
That's right.
Tobago updates. Morning Tobago.
Welcome back, viewers, and thank you for staying with us. I am Natalie Richardson, and you are viewing Good Morning Tobago, and we are coming live from the Port Mall located in Scarborough, Tobago, and as we say, the greatest little island on the planet. I continue chatting with Mr. Brendon Gray, who is the branch manager of Tattle Insurance, and we are going to talk more about just insurance in general, because I think it's so important that you really came to share with us, because even hearing you speak about, you know, the importance of having that transfer certificate or that process started at the point of exchange of money for that sale. You know, I would have had a pre-owned vehicle, and I don't think I even did it that way. It worked out well for me because it was done, but it wasn't done at that particular point in time. So I just want to say, you know, thank you, and I know our viewers are definitely learning. Let's shift gears a bit and let's talk about, you know, the whole process. So I would have done everything I'm supposed to do. So now I'm in your office. And let me just add that Mr. Gray has been in insurance for well over 40 years. So I consider him an expert. So you're getting free consult services here on Tobago Updates. All right. So pay attention, take your notes. If you have a question, maybe you could drop it in. He may not be able to answer it because remember, we're talking about things broadly here. Everybody may have a different situation and it may change what happens in your situation. But just talk about in general the process to have a vehicle insured.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for the question. I think we have a little challenge there. When people come to the office, they're not aware of all the documentation that that needs to be presented. Well, let's start from we are subject to the central bank, where they are our overseers.
Okay.
Yeah. We respond to them. And recently, 2 years ago, the Insurance Act was changed. So we have a new Insurance Act.
Okay.
That we have to comply with certain issues, very serious issues. And before you could have done a lot of other things and so on. Now, we call the act a draconian act because of the kind of breaches that and jail and monies that has to be paid in terms of if you breached any of the conditions and any of the terms in the act. So we have to comply.
Right.
And so when you come to the company, any one of the companies, a certificate of insurance for the vehicle, your IDs and or utility bills in your name and must be brought to the company the certificate of insurance will say who owns the vehicle.
Right.
The IDs will say that you are that person, or your utility bill. So you have two forms of IDs. Either two forms of IDs, which include your address on one, which is your driver's permit, that has your address, or utility bill. Those documents must be presented in order for the insurance for us to comply with the act, based on what was brought in it. So those are the documents you bring. You now have to complete some forms at the company. One which would be called the KYC, which is Know Your Customer, which has to be done at the banks because we are part of the financial sector.
Okay.
So the same things you do at the banks to open an account, only at the banks they're a little more stringent.
Right.
Yeah, you had to need your neighbor string at the bank. You don't need neighbor string by us.
Yeah. But sometimes, Mr. Gray, we feel so, because, and let me just, it's a pet peeve for me, and I've heard others talk about it. Although we're talking about that initial process to insure, but even for renewal, you've explained now that it's part of the law. But why every time I have to renew my vehicle insurance, I have to bring the utility bill? You got it last year. You got the IDs last year. Why it is I have to bring it again and again? Where's my information going? Who has access to it?
Exactly my point. And don't think that we are trying to argue with the central bank. The same point.
Right.
Through our association, we are trying to ensure that is not necessary. Once it's the same person, it has not been transferred. We are arguing that point.
Because I understand the initial part of it, because you have to prove and exercise due diligence. But I've been your customer for the last 10 years, last 15 years. Even if you ask me to do it once every 5 or 10 years just to update. But every year.
I'm telling you, I'm saying to you, we are arguing that's the insurance association.
Right.
And people feel as though it's Tatil alone in this matter.
Right.
No, we have a fraternity, which is our insurance association for the insurance companies. We also have an association for the life insurance operations and for agents. Fortunately, at this time, I am the president of the association for agents in Tobago, which is called TIFA, the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. So we have togetherness, so we articulate on behalf of each other with the various authorities. So it's not that we are competing in that manner. We try to make sure that what John does, Mary does, the same thing, we present with one voice.
Yes.
So the insurance companies are not arguing and quarreling among themselves, but they have competition among themselves. Banter is important.
Yes, of course.
But basically we present one face to the authorities and our associations. So, back to your point, it is important. We're trying to get the central bank or the regulators to understand that, yes, this is a thing that we could roll back some bit in terms of requirements, but they ask us to do it every year. Every year we need to present your documentation, and we have people living outside in the United States, and this only came because of the purchasing of goods outside of and what you call it, some people bringing in money to the company without and trying to fraudulently change money.
So
laundering and so on. So that is why that is so. Money laundering.
And sometimes we think we have all this time, but our time is coming to an end. And I just want you to probably share very quickly, outside of not having that ownership, that certificate of ownership, what are maybe 1 or 2 other issues that can pop up to prevent me from getting my vehicle insured with a company?
Well,
or is that the main thing?
That, and if you've been having accidents.
Okay.
If you've been having accidents, you come from another insurance company, you do not have a no claim discount. Because what you need to do, if you're moving insurances around, move from insurance to insurer, you need to walk with your renewal notice. That renewal notice is going to tell a lot of stories to the incoming insurance company, what is happening with you at that previous insurance company. So that renewal notice will say, do I have no claim discount or no claim discount, as the case might be? You walk with that. So renewal notice will tell
So,
that.
so if I'm having all those fender benders, I'm not at a risk for the company.
That's right. You're sending a message that you're not someone, you do not drive with caution, in other
Right.
words, because accidents will happen,
Right.
but it must be an accident.
Yes.
It must not be something deliberate.
Right.
And if you are driving that way and you're causing accident, it means you are doing something deliberately, and no insurance company will want to keep you. And that's primarily what it is.
Yeah, yeah, but
Yes.
you know, we live in a very interesting society, Mr. Gray. I could tell you, well, the police say so, but it's not my fault, and I will sit there and I will try to convince you.
They would not take your insurance because there's an offer and acceptance.
Right.
Sometimes you can rate the person up or down, as the case might be,
Right.
depend on certain factors. But basically, if it is that the person doesn't have a no claim discount, it says a message, sends a
Right.
message.
Okay.
You may have one accident, yes, it's not your fault.
Right.
It's not a no blame insurance, not a no claim discount. It's not a no blame discount.
Okay.
It's a no claim discount.
I got you. Right.
You see.
Yes.
So those are some of the factors. Yeah.
You know, and of course, viewers, I really hope you listened to Mr. Gray and would have learned. And of course, we know he will be back sometime as he continues his education drive to ensure that we exercise due diligence. We understand, this whole insurance process, so it will make it a lot easier for us. I want to thank you this morning for taking time out from your schedule. I know you have a lot on your plate. I'm sure you're heading to the office straight away to get behind that desk and get some work done. So we thank you so much for your time.
I want to say it's a real pleasure. Every time it's a pleasure coming and seeing. As I said, you are doing a fantastic job here at Tobago Update. And whenever I'm out of the country, wherever I'm at, I tune into the Tobago Update to get the information.
Yes, because Tobago Updates keeps the current affairs of this island, Trinidad, and the rest of the region in focus. So this is definitely the place to be.
And I want to echo your statement earlier. The greatest little island on the planet.
On the planet, definitely, right here.
Well said.
Viewers, our time is just about up, and I want to thank you for staying with us this morning on Good Morning Tobago. I wish you a beautiful day. Some of you, I know where you are, it might be cold, it might be raining, it might be sunny. Whatever and however it is, it's your day. Seize it, make the best of it. I am Natalie Richardson, and thank you for being with us right here on Tobago Updates Television. So until next time, and remember to have a Christmas season with Be Mobile.
Just